And you say Shot City, Shot City, Shot City.
I'm coming home again. Do you think about me now and then?
Yeah.
Do you think about
me? All right. Poker, spades, chess and checkers. Poker, spades, chess and checkers. Thugs, drugs, music and pimps. Thugs, drugs, music and pimps. What do they have in common? They all claim to have a game. Spade game, music game, pimp game. But this here, poetry, is not a game. It's more like my emotions stirred up, boiling hot and busting out of my chest. My words I use all have substance. People banging these words like game, slanging other people's feelings for profit and gain. No, I don't claim to be a prophet, but yet I have been given prolific knowledge to see where this craft is headed. If the Antichrist of poetry's neck isn't slashed and beheaded. It's supposed to be therapy. Yes, we're using these words as if we're a part of a poetic Illuminati. I was told when I was young that my words had power. I have life in my mouth to give life and death. So every word that I spit, whether it's in a poem or a soul-snatching song, I wanted to count. So on my soapbox I shout, this is not gangster rap. No Biggie, no Pac. No Ja Rule, no 50 cents. To use the word beat in poetry, it doesn't make sense. When's the last time you saw brothers on the corner in a b-boy stance, battle rapping? That craft kind of went to sleep in the 80s. And maybe it's time for poetic cats to take a nap, wake up with a lyrical lion thinking caps on. Because there is no color-coordinated battles, no finger-twisting signs, no corners to claim, and no up-and-down staring games. Even a blind man can spit on the very mic title that you claim and get fame. Poetry, more like twisted up, mangled up your feelings on a page or a mic. So it's disrespectful to call poetry a game. Yes, the flow may get flipped, the delivery may change, but yet it still remains that there is no such thing as a poetry game. And that's that piece. He loves me, especially different, excited by his cologne, his touch, his smile, his intelligence. He loves me. He said these words to me and I told him that I heard him. I told him that I believed him. He tried to stop, change, and rearrange them, but they meant the same thing coming from this man to me. He told me he L-O-V-E me. So we had to stop and have a conversation. We talked about the things of our past and the stuff that just didn't last. I told him, I've had some good days with Gerald, John, and the dude I just wish not to name. I've had some hills to climb with Jeremy, Tim, and the dude off 15th Street that thought he was a pimp. I've had some weary days and some lonely ass nights. But when I looked around the room, y'all, I saw him. He was my rough edge tranquility. He was shaking but never breaking, hardened but contemplated a softer situation. He was half open, but he was chosen to lead blind men to a future of sight. And inside of himself, he thought that he might have happiness between he and me. So we fight these rounds like Frazier for the title, devouring skin and ears like Tyson for a win. He lifts me. He elevates me. He inspires me to write these poems with the higher me. So our haters on the side and they're hating me. As I walk like Egyptians, write hieroglyphics description, provoking me to be a better me because inside of me he thought that he could have a better me. And one day we would be we, he, me, we. And then you got them. Yes, his exes on the side, and they hated me. Because they just realized that love's hourglass waits on no one. It took them 5 years to realize that they had one. It took them 5 years to realize that they had one. Because love waits on no one. It's more like an octagon. 8 corners, 8 sides to turn until you find the right one. And this man stands before me and he sounds like a sweet symphony. He said L-O-V. You got it, yes girl, he loves me. So we took he plus me, cut out the X's and the bullshit and came up with we. Pushing the haters to the side, taking this ride. Because in the morning when he rises, even in his dreams, he told me he loved me. And that's that piece, y'all.
I was afraid to pray, fearing that my prayers weren't holy enough. If I prayed for myself, they just wouldn't be long enough. And if I prayed for you and they did not go through, I would feel like a Christian slacking in a prayer department. So I depended and relied on others to pray for me as I still petitioned the throne for you, hoping that my prayers didn't fall on blinded ears. See, I was created in his image and I was designed to read, and I know, Lord, you're reading here my plea, so you already know my need. I need a dose of Ruth's commitment, a sip of the Hebrew boy's like-mindedness, a regimen of Paul's faith. I was afraid. Afraid to talk to the master builder about a design that only he could have made. Afraid to talk to the architect about a building that only he could have portrayed. I was afraid, but not afraid to write it on a page. See, I was created in his image and I was designed to read, so Lord, I know you hear this, my plea, and you already know my need. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Daryl Colby tell me that it's a sweet communion. If I go beyond the veil, and I'm waiting for the day that you tell me, Lord, if I take your hand, there is no more need to be afraid. But yet, I am afraid. Lord, I'm afraid that the answer that I wish to believe is not the one that I will receive. Afraid to be reproved and refined because I've gotten so comfortable in this damn skin of mine. I was afraid. And they say that the first step is to admit it, so Lord, here I go. Lord, I'm afraid to talk to you. Fearing that my prayers aren't holy enough. And if I pray for myself, Lord, but the way that I've been living, they may not be long enough. And if I pray for you and they did not go through, I would feel like a Christian slacking in a prayer department. So I depended on others too. And I relied on others to pray for me as I still petition the throne for you, hoping that my prayers don't fall on blinded ears. Because, Lord, I was created in your image and I was designed to read. So, Lord, I know you hear and read my plead because you already know my needs. I'm longing for the day that you call my name. Tell me to come nearer. Tell me that you hear me and every word that I speak, every word that I write, every word that I gave up to you tonight because, Lord, you are my creator. You've created me in your image, Lord. To give you worship, to give you praise, I was created. Yet sometimes I get sidetracked. And I think that this life is all about me, but Lord, I give it back to you. So my prayer be, that you sit me down as you stand up inside of me. Let those words that come from my lips be the words that you order when you order my steps, because Lord, I just want to hear you. Speak those words that I sometimes need to hear. When I sleep and my dreams get weary, Lord, let me know that you're near. I can't be afraid anymore. because you told me that there is no fear when it comes to loving you. And if I put my hand in your hand, there is no more need to be afraid. I'm no longer afraid. And that's that piece.
Give it up, give it up!
Right. So yeah, I was in love, right? And everybody know that love has its ups and its downs. So I'm gonna tell y'all about a down moment. He left his cologne on my dresser as a reminder that he'd once resided. A pile of dirty clothes on the floor to say, hey, I have lived there before. A dirty ashtray as a reminder of the smoky house compromise that I had made. His coffee cup of the silent morning duty he gave. He took every picture and wiped my desktop clean as if he never typed my keys. Forgetting that every memory of him that I had still resided inside of me. He took everything that meant anything, including the dog. But he left the dog bowl behind. See, I know that his past was tainted, and it causes friction and our connection from the start. So on my patience, I stood fast, watching this man sabotage something so beautiful of ours. They say there's nothing like the fury of a woman's scorn, because she puts her revenge in that man's face. But a man's scorn? His anger is somehow misplaced and oozed out over the entire female race.
Yes, ma'am.
So he packed his bags, left no shoe in my place, emptied every hanger, and the man even used my goddamn suitcase. But he left his cologne on my dresser, because in the bedroom, that was his only trace. And see, people on the outside, they never know what took place, because there's always two sides to a story, one unheard case waiting to be deliberated.
That's right.
Feelings held in, then blurted out. Thoughts caged in, then breaking out. Secrets held in, then forced to be told by this woman's investigation. See, sometimes secret walls have to be torn down to get to the center of a relationship's predestination. So I look around with no regrets, still loving him yet. I have waken up from my fantasies. And I guess I was supposed to remain asleep in the poppy seed garden because he left his smell goods behind for me. He left his cologne on the dresser because he wanted me to know that he twistedly still loved me, wanted me to remember the we that we come so close to be. And all of that went in one ear and out the other the day that he yelled, screamed, and pushed me. And I'm standing here smelling his smell goods. He left them to remind me of the fact that he once resided. The pile of clothes on the floor to say, hey, I have lived there before. The dirty ashtray to remind me of the smoky house compromise that I had made. And that coffee cup, that goddamn coffee cup of the silent morning duty he gave. And he left that cologne because he knew that I love his scent. And I admit it, when the doorbell rang, yes, I ran and opened it. He ran past me, went to the dresser, sprayed the cologne on his neck, dropped to his knees, kissed my feet, and said, baby, I love you with all due respect. And I understand that sometimes a man's ego has to be checked. So that man came home because he knew that home is where the man's heart, mind, and soul belonged. At least I think that's why he came home. It could have been that, or maybe he left his favorite bottle of cologne. And that's that piece.
Yeah. And you say Shot City, Shot City, Shot City.
I'm coming home again. Do you think about me now?